This is Smarter San Diego TV.
Here is what they don't want you to know.
Owning a home is the cornerstone of any good financial plan or retirement strategy. I mean, that's the real reason we buy real estate.
You've got to be smarter if you want to be successful. That's what this show is for.
This is going to blow your mind. You're going to share this with everyone you know.
I guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else.
If you do nothing else in your lifetime to save for retirement other than own your home free and clear, you're going to be okay.
And now, here's your host, Derek Evans.
Welcome to Smarter San Diego TV. This is the place right here where you get smarter, and it's all commercial free. Co-hosting with me today, as usual, the lovely Rebecca Peters is here.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
There she is. All right, Rebecca. We decided to ask Facebook. Great show today lined up, by the way, but huge topics on the table because national news made in San Bernardino with the mass shooting there. I don't want to say names of any shooters or anything like that. I think that's the big problem with the media. They're glorifying these guys. But I will say this, that was pretty close to home.
Little too close to home, as far as I'm concerned.
I know exactly where that took place.
Yes.
Now, that said, I have a question for you. I have a couple questions for you before we go to Facebook and actually talk about our most shared article ever on Smarter San Diego Facebook page. Have you changed anything about your habits, about your dailies? Has anything changed for you since that happened and it happened so close to us?
No, I guess would be the complete
So you didn't run out and
answer.
buy a gun or anything? Or like get a baseball bat?
I don't know, it's made me feel a little bit uncomfortable, but at the end of the day, I got a life to live. I'm not going to sit at home scared and hiding in my room. Because
you know what they're doing now in schools? It was fire drills, tornado drills when I was growing up. Now it's shooter drills.
Gun drills.
They're teaching kids elementary school age what to do if someone comes into the school and starts shooting the place
And
up.
to me, that is just like, why are we teaching our kids how to protect themselves from a gun?
It could save lives. I mean, the thing is, these campuses are so easy to get on. Mm-hmm. I mean, at any point in time, I'm surprised it hasn't happened more often, frankly.
And they're not armed at school, for obvious reasons, but...
So, based on that, and every time there's a shooting, the gun debate goes flaring up online. Mm-hmm. People saying we should get rid of all the guns, other people saying everyone should have a gun. And I really believe that it has to be one way or the other. Ideally, there would be no such thing as guns.
Yeah.
There's still going to be weapons, though. You could walk into a Home Depot and get a nail gun that shoots, 200 rounds a second.
You could create a pipe bomb.
There's so many things you could do. So with or without the guns, there's always going to be weapons. You can't get rid of that. But if we could get rid of all the guns, and I mean every single gun on the planet, then I think that would be the ideal way to go.
Yes.
But that's not possible.
But you'd have to unarm or disarm the governments as well as just the people.
That's the hard part.
Yeah.
Because you can't just leave the guns in the hands of only the governments. We've seen what happens when that happens.
Yep.
So as this debate is flaring up, I thought it would be a good idea to ask people through Facebook one simple question, which was this. Would you rather have lunch in a gun-free zone, in a place where it was the law that no guns could be there, or in a gun-legal zone? And you had the choice, which would you choose? The responses were pretty interesting.
Yes.
But first of all, before we get to those, though, I want to ask you, where would you rather have lunch?
I'd like to be in a gun-legal zone.
You'd like to be in a gun-legal zone?
I want to know when I go and I sit down, I have my lunch on campus, at school, or I'm at school in general, or wherever I am, that if something breaks out, some whack job comes in with a gun in his hand, that I don't have to wait for a police officer or swarms of SWAT teams and whatever to come and protect me. I want someone right there. Okay.
Which was, for the most part, the sentiment we got from Facebook. Go ahead and read some of the responses.
Yes. Veronica Cervantes. Gun-free makes me think of OK Coral in Tombstone. How would guns magically disappear? The people committing those acts are not the law-abiding citizens that would actually follow the gun-free zone. Gun-legal people would know they are likely to be shot back sooner, even if police aren't there, and might think twice.
And that was the most comment in there. It's OK Corral, by the way. I know that's a tough...
Corral.
So that was pretty interesting. Most people did say gun legal. Go ahead and read some of the other comments, though.
Elliot Schroeder, gun legal. Haven't heard of any mass shootings at police stations, gun shows, or gun shops.
It's true.
Yeah, good point.
Look at Paris. They're picking places where people have no way to defend themselves.
Look at San Bernardino. What
would you do, if you were a terrorist? I mean, it's really simple.
Yep.
The way I kind of look at this debate is like, which side are the terrorists on, do you think? Do you think the terrorists out there are going, I hope that, they make stricter gun laws? Or do you think that they're saying, I hope that they give everyone a gun? Which do you think the terrorists are hoping for? Because I want to be on the other side of what the terrorists
Exactly,
are hoping
yeah.
for. That's just me. I know.
So let's ask the terrorists, what do you guys
Yeah, what
want
do you
us
guys
to
want?
do? We're going to do the opposite.
We're going to do the opposite
No.
of that. And I think it's pretty easy to know what they would like. They would like the gun laws to be more strict, more difficult. Because guess what? If there's a way to get a gun, those guys are going to figure out how to do
Yeah.
it. One more comment on there.
Adrian Johnson, he's on the other side of the court here. He says, everyone who says gun legal are complete idiots. Now. This whole country needs to turn gun free, which I can agree, but
That'd be
how do you
ideal.
get rid of every single gun and every single piece of ammunition
Here's the thing.
from the people and from the authorities?
I'll tell you this, Rebecca. You have to look at guys who make comments like this, or anyone who makes a comment like this. When you start calling other people names in the thread, that's the guy who's wrong. That's the guy who's wrong.
Sorry,
and
Adrian.
knows it, but resorts to name calling.
Yeah.
You know, that is technically trolling. We normally don't provide any promotion for trolls on this show, but hey, what are you going to do? All right, we got a great show lined up. You ready to get to it?
Yes, let's
All
do
right,
this.
I'm going to go get my jacket on. It's time to start the show.
Our next guest is a 21-year retired veteran of the United States Navy and founder of Military Mutual. Please welcome back to the show, Derek Barksdale, and his special guest from the San Diego Dream Center, James Marino.
What's up, fellas? How you doing?
Thank you for having us.
Great to have you here. LT.
How you
What's
doing,
up, man?
Derek?
Hey, I got to say a big thank you for the tour of the Midway. That was awesome.
Oh, you're more than welcome, and
tell
you
ya.
were actually able to show me a few things too. I didn't know about your pilot background, so thank you.
What?
The F-14 Tomcat is amazing. I've never flown one, but that was cool to see it just in person up front. It's a really cool thing. I suggest everyone do it now. You probably won't be able to get a tour from LT, but I'm glad that you gave one to me. I really appreciate that. And you wanted to bring James on today. Tell us why.
Wow. Well, James is with the San Diego Dream Center. He is the executive director and chairman for the board. I was actually blessed to be privileged with the honor of being a board member myself from 2013 to 2015, and I was with San Diego Dream Center and really saw firsthand what they do for the homeless that are here in San Diego. And as I started to get involved, and the way I first started was through the Christmas season, and went out with an Adopt-A-Block with James and saw exactly what they did. And I realized that this is the season that we really need to, that people are in the giving spirit. And so I feel that right now getting involved and bringing James out here to really spread some visibility and some spotlight on what they do is important.
I agree, and thank you for doing that. As you're always bringing great guests on the show for us. James, it's great to have you.
Oh, thank you for having me.
I'd never heard of the San Diego Dream Center before. I'll be honest with you, until Derek brought it up. So I know that a lot of people watching now are hearing about it for the first time. So tell us about what the Dream Center is.
Well, you're probably not alone here in San Diego, but in Los Angeles, where the Dream Center's founders are, there's a hospital. It's a recovery hospital. Holds up to 1,000 individuals there that are either volunteering or living on campus because they have suffering from life challenges.
Yeah.
Could be from homelessness, drug addiction, people that have been human trafficked, fosters that have been emancipated from the foster care system,
Right.
and also people that have just found come to a place in life where they're just lost and need hope. They just opened up last month a whole floor there for veterans to help homeless veterans to get back on their feet and kind of get back on that mission that they were called for, not just in the service but here in life.
Yeah, that's huge because it's a big problem. Mm-hmm. Homelessness is definitely a problem. A lot of people kind of turn the other way on, and with veterans, it's the same thing for some reason. It's just one of those things that's not paid close enough attention to. So I'm glad someone is out there doing something about it. Can you give us an idea how big of a problem it is for people who might just think, that's 1 in a million, yeah, poor guy, as somebody who's crapped out, roll the dice. How many people are there who need this type of help?
Well, just to give you an idea, here in San Diego, we have over 8,000 individuals that are currently homeless. This is families, these are individuals, these are veterans, people that have given their lives to serve our country, and they come back and they find themselves now in a desperate situation. So what we're doing is we're taking the model of the Los Angeles Dream Center, and our goal here is to go ahead and build a Dream Center here in San Diego. Because right now what we do is we use the LA facility to go ahead and send people from San Diego up there. But I don't think there's a need for us to have to export to Los Angeles. We here in San Diego can take care of our own and help them. Now, also being part of the Dream Center, we've taken part of a new initiative, which is a federal initiative that's coming down from the president himself, is to end homelessness for for veterans that are homeless, and to end their homelessness by the end of 2016. Now that's a huge undertaking, and the president has put a lot of resources and a lot behind this. And here in San Diego, the Dream Center has taken our space in being part of the design team here to help end homelessness by the end of 2016.
Yeah, because it's a lot more than I think people realize. It's not just, hey, give them a roof and food. In order to actually end homelessness, you have to do something to help them be self-sufficient from there. I mean, at the beginning, you've got to find a place to house them and feed them and have them recover from whatever it is that they're ailing from. But then you also have to put work in to help them become self-sufficient again, right? So it's a lot bigger task than I think a lot of people realize.
Oh yeah, it's a huge task. But you know what? I believe that our city, there's enough resources, there's enough men and women that are willing to come out and join and come in together and just do something to change our city and what's going on in it. I'm really excited about partnering with the initiative. It's called 25 Cities. I'm really excited about being partners with Alpha Project, PATH, the Downtown Partnership. A lot of other organizations are coming together to end this homelessness that we're dealing with here in San Diego. It's a huge undertaking, but I believe that we can do it here in San Diego.
Derek, what role does this play in the new reality show, Warrior Home?
Well, actually, it's ironic enough, James and San Diego Dream Center already have a lot of work placement initiatives that are in place, and that's going to be part of it. As you know, Warrior Home is going to not only tell the story of rebuilding a house or doing some work around the home, but actually being involved in that person's life from the therapeutic side of the point to help people recover from PTSD, to get them job placement, and then also to establish their home so they can live here in a comfortable life. And that's where I see San Diego Dream Center being a part of that.
Yeah, because with Warrior Home, you guys are going to be, helping veterans who need help with their home, whether it's building a home or fixing a home or adapting to an environment in a home. It seems like a good fit, because I imagine we're going to run into a lot of things as the show starts here in the near future. You're going to run into a lot of situations where the Dream Center might be able to help as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Fantastic stuff. So let me ask you this, James, because a lot of people right now, as we know, in the giving spirit. I'd like to believe that everyone's always in the giving spirit. We just have to give them the right message. And I'd like for you right now to tell us, what can people do to help the San Diego Dream Center? People out there who want to actively take a role, do something that helps you in your mission. What can they do right now?
Well, getting involved is really important. Right now we have about 300 to 400 volunteers throughout the city. So we do a thing called an Adopt a Block program, where we go through individual cities and we take volunteers out there and we meet people at where they're at and try to resource them there. And so we are counting on volunteers to help us grow our Adopt a Block program. Right now, currently, we do Adopt a Blocks all the way from the South Bay up to Escondido. So we're running every week 2 outreaches, going out there and finding the need of the people where they're at. And so we'd like people to get more involved with us, more volunteers. The more volunteers we have, the greater impact we can have in the city. Just to give you an example, in Los Angeles, every Saturday, anywhere between 500 and 1,000 individuals get together to go out and outreach in their community, to go and touch people where they're at, whether they're homeless, whether they just have need for clothes or they have need for food. They go out there and they volunteer, give their time. And really, that's what I think it is. It's a community coming together to join, to just fight for those that are suffering from just issues in life. I realize that this initiative that we have, or these goals that we have, is going to take a community to solve our issues. It's not going to take one organization, it's not going to take one individual, but it's going to take multiples. It's going to take our whole city, join together and join the movement. I really think it's a movement that we should all get behind. I got involved because I saw what was happening in Los Angeles. I said, man, we need this here in San Diego. Matthew Barnett, which is the founder of the Dream Center in Los Angeles, he did an amazing job. God gave me a vision to go ahead and just do this in San Diego. And I've been as the director here in San Diego for the past 2 years, and we've seen great things happening. But we can do so much more, and together that's how it's going to happen.
Fantastic. Really appreciate it. Great message, Derek. Thank you so much for bringing James on the show today. This is a really important thing that we need to pay attention to. It can't be lost in the shuffle. Veteran homelessness, homelessness in general, these are things that need to be tackled. Thank you so much for taking
Thank you very much.
the
I
time
really
to do the
appreciate
hard
your
work.
time.
Thanks, James. Really appreciate it. Derek, thank you so much. Stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else, commercial free.
Our next guests are making their first appearance here at Smarter San Diego TV. Please welcome real estate expert Monet Love and attorney Pat Shea.
Welcome to the show, guys. How you doing? All right. Great to have you here, Monet.
Thank you.
Love is now on the air officially.
Love
You're
is
doing
on the air.
your radio show on ESPN Radio, which is going really well, I've heard.
Yes, it's awesome. I love it.
Fantastic stuff. And you wanted to bring Pat on the show today.
Yes.
Tell me why.
I wanted to bring Pat on the show. Been in real estate for 17 years, and I find that a lot of my clients will be doing work on their house or their home, their investment properties, and they will be using unlicensed contractors or Uncle Bob to come and fix the garage door.
I have an Uncle Bob.
Your Uncle Bob is okay, but everyone else's Uncle Bob cannot fix the garage door. And what happens is if there are issues where someone is hurt or something like that, then it becomes a liability issue on the homeowner. So in several instances, I've consulted Pat. He's an attorney here in San Diego, and he has helped my clients and me also understand more about the liability issues as a homeowner.
Okay, so this is all about CYing your A today,
Exactly.
right?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Pat, thanks for coming today.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. And I think this is one of those things where people do need to realize that when you have home ownership or when you own a home, or maybe even if you rent a home, we'll ask you that, you have some sort of liability associated with it.
Absolutely.
When people come into your house, whether it's friends for a party or your kids' friends or whatever, there's liability associated there, right?
Yeah, and a lot of it's counterintuitive. That's why we wanted to talk about some particular situations today. It's frequent that people have their handyman, their go-to guy who's going to do the plumbing work or the carpentry work, especially with people who have investment properties. They might have 3 or 4 properties and they have the same guy doing the work. A couple issues come up. Number one, if they're unlicensed, even though you might get a better deal for that particular work based on the costs, if something happens to that unlicensed contractor, you actually become legally their employer, and they're entitled to all the benefits that they would get as an employee under the workers' compensation system. So, and that can be huge depending on the injuries they suffer.
Holy smokes.
And it's people don't realize that. It's counterintuitive. So, I mean, it's really important to do a couple things. You want to make sure the people you hire are licensed and bonded. If we're just talking about your own home and you're just a homeowner, you don't have to take the next step. But if you're running investment properties, you're buying multiple properties, you should always form an LLC or some type of limited liability protection so that your personal assets are not exposed. And that way, you, number one, have that protection. Number two, if the person's licensed and insured, you've shifted the risk to them, and don't cut corners.
Okay, so here's my big question.
Okay.
There's a difference between homeowners and, let's say, renters. So let's say Monet owns a condo in Del Mar. I live in it. I rent it from her. I mean, if I hire Uncle Bob to come and fix the plumbing, and he slips and hits his head or something and goes into a coma, is she liable? Am I liable?
No, she's going to be removed unless she has knowledge of it. Unless she signed off on it, it's still going to go to you as the tenant who has the possession. Basically, is what the law looks at: possession of the property at the time that the hiring was done.
Okay, so that's good for investment property owners out there. That you don't have to worry about every person who's coming into the house.
Right. Exactly.
But now, regardless, here's a question: whether you're a homeowner or not. What about the people who work in your home? I'll give you an example. So we have a cleaning crew that comes once a week. I'll be very honest, as I usually am, right? Okay, I have to be. I don't know their status. I haven't seen a green card or, a driver's license. I didn't vet them or anything like that. I don't know if they have any licenses. They just come and clean the house, man. They run the vacuum, they dust stuff. That's it. We pay them cash money. I'm assuming I'm doing something wrong, though.
Well,
This is my form of confession right now.
Absolutely, and I won't even get into the tax consequence that you might be doing wrong, not paying payroll tax, and we'll just ignore that for now. But there is there is a surprising rule from a liability standpoint that I think will shock some people. So if you have a domestic worker, whether it is a maid, a nanny, a gardener, and they are injured, you then go back 3 months, so 90 days. If within that 90-day period they worked for you for 52 hours, they are considered your employee. And if you do the math, all that requires is about 5.1 hours a week. So for example, if you have somebody who cleans your investment properties and they go to 3 or 4 properties a week and they work 7 hours a week, even though they might be working for other people and for IRS purposes might be independent contractors, for workers' compensation in California, they're deemed your employee. And again, you become an employer, which can be very costly absent the right kind of insurance.
Okay. And that's what I wanted to try to kind of get to here. Like, all right, I understand. There's liability all over the place.
Right.
I'm not going to understand it. I'm not going to go to law school and know everything that you know. So what's the solution?
Call Pat Shea.
Well, again, I touched on it briefly. I would say it's a 3-pronged solution. Number one, if you're more than a homeowner and you have rental properties, you want to form some type of limited liability or S corp protection so that your personal assets are protected. That's number one.
Okay.
Number two is contact your insurance broker and make sure you have the right kind of insurance. You should have a workers' compensation rider on your homeowner's policy. You should make sure you've disclosed, so there's no misunderstanding later with your insurance company, you've disclosed every property that you own that you want to be covered by your insurance. And it's always a good idea to have as a backstop a comprehensive general liability policy that basically covers everything. And then you're protected. And then the third prong that I talked about is shift that burden to somebody else. Make sure everybody you're hiring is licensed and doing the job with insurance with their own employees.
Right. And if they're doing that, then the liability shifts to them.
Right. In fact, we can take it one step further. You take that unlicensed contractor comes in your house and he brings Cousin Tony in to help him as an assistant worker. Cousin Tony's hurt. You're now Cousin Tony's employer.
Wow.
Right.
That's crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And most people don't recognize that. I mean,
No, they don't.
Yeah.
Monet, this is good information.
A lot of people want to just save, well, this person will do it for $2,000, this person will do it for $1,500. Well, what they don't realize is that their job will be done for $1,500, but if they fall and, break their arm or slip and fall or utilize, your property as a way to be able to sue somebody, since that is, something that is kind of running rampant, nowadays, you want to definitely take that step further and make sure that you're protected. And the first step people can do in doing that is making sure they contact their insurance agent to make sure they do have the riders necessary, to make sure they are covered, make sure that, they're not going to be held liable when they do start fixing and repairing things on their home.
Does that happen a lot when people are about ready to sell?
It does. In my business, what we do, my team and I will go out to homes and do a pre-listing appointment. So we will go through the home and try to look for things that can be fixed prior to escrow to make sure that their home is sold for the most value and everything is fixed, everything's in working condition, and we'll discuss it with the homeowner. And then at that point, they will we'll kind of advise them the things that they should be getting fixed prior to going into escrow to help save them money after So when they go into escrow, they're saving money.
Right.
However, when we leave, we have no control over, who they're hiring to come in the home. And so that's when the issues happen. As sometimes I'll get homeowners calling me saying, oh, we can't sell because this happened. We had someone fall on the property. It's happened twice actually. And it's, it's one of those things where you think it's not going to happen to me, but if it does, you're in trouble.
And I'll take it one step further, Derek. We've been talking about the liability for the worker being injured. Here's a scenario. You hire somebody in the situation Monet talked about, and they do some roofing work. Escrow closes, the new owner comes in. The roofing work was done negligently by an unlicensed contractor. Somehow a roofing beam falls and hits a third party who was just visiting the new homeowner to have a play date with their kids. That visitor is knocked out, injured. The previous owner, because they're the ones that hired the unlicensed contractor, are liable on a civil basis for the injuries to that third party. Get insurance.
This has been crazily enlightening. Thank you guys so much for coming on the show today, Monet. Really appreciate it, Pat. That was awesome. Stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else, commercial free.
Our next guest is the host of a very popular radio show, Big Daddy Radio. Please welcome back Brian Garrity.
What's up, EG?
Hey, I love that. Yay, round of applause.
Big Daddy is
There we
here.
go.
What's up, man?
Hey, not much. It's the holiday time.
It is holiday season.
And it's end of the year time.
That's true.
It's hard to believe time.
It is.
It really is. I mean, I find it fascinating that it's already the end of the year.
It does that every year, isn't that crazy?
It does. And let me tell you, the younger you get, the faster it goes.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it does. It really does.
Well, today we wanted to impart on some of your wisdom.
Yes.
A lot of people have been listening to the radio show recently, as they have been for years now. Big Daddy Radio, BigDaddyRadio.com. Talk about all things pop culture and hot topics that are going on. I want to dip into your vat of knowledge as a realtor in San Diego. And talk about how to hire someone, because this has become a really big deal for people, where there's so many agents, thousands of agents in San Diego County. Now there's online companies, and they're doing all sorts of things to sort of disrupt the space. So how to hire a realtor, where do we begin?
Well, you begin by doing your due diligence, and that is, number one, first ask around. Ask friends, relatives, whomever that you're close to. Do they have a referral of somebody that possibly they've worked with, or somebody that they're comfortable with, that because they know, Joe Schmo sold them a house and he's nothing but happy. Look for somebody who's had a good experience with an agent. Start there. That doesn't mean hire there. That means start there. Then maybe you'll gather one or two names. Some people say interview 3. Most people, 67% of people that interview an agent hire the first agent they interview.
Is that right?
Yeah. So then you've got that 33% of folks that are going to actually look at 3 different people and hire based on what's a good fit. And sometimes, the agent that does the most production is not the best fit. Some people need a lot of hand-holding, and people want to be working with the agent that they hired, not a team member, not an assistant. Period. They want the agent to be the one that's interfacing with them. I don't blame them. You're getting paid good money.
That's what I'd want.
Well, me too. And that's how I look at it. I treat each of my listings as like a unique business proposition. I don't want anyone to feel that their house that's being sold is treated the same as their next door neighbor's house that's being sold. I always find something unique or a different angle to go in on when listing a house. But you need to do your due diligence. You can go on the internet, you can look for reviews, and then once you meet with an agent, you need to make sure to remember that once you sign, say you're going to interview 3 agents.
Okay.
The first agent comes out, and you get to the next agent and you say, oh, I signed paperwork with somebody. Well, if you've signed paperwork with somebody, you've essentially now employed an agent. So going and meeting the other 2 agents is not going to behoove you. Be very leery of that. Remember, you as the seller are the boss. It's not the other way around. The agent's not the boss. The seller is the employer of this listing. And they are.
Good way to look at it.
They are, though. They are. And I think that a lot of people don't think of themselves that way. They think that, what do we need to do? And of course, that's why you're there, to guide them and get them the best possible price. But at the end of the day, the seller is the one that makes all the final decisions and all the final calls on it. And you want to make sure when you sign a listing agreement, number one, you want to know for how long. Because once you sign that agreement, you have now locked yourself into a legally binding contract for X amount of days. It could be 3 months, it could be 6 months, it could be 1 year. Who knows?
Let me ask you, before you sign the agreement, should you take the time to review it? In other words, because it's several pages, and a lot of the terminology might not be familiar to most people. Should you take a day, read it, review it before you sign it?
I think you should review it. I think you should at least take it for 2 reasons. I think you should review the document and make sure you're comfortable with the terms and see if you have any questions about it, because it is like a 5-page document that people are going to be signing. It does have, clauses in there. They're going to lock you into that agent. And I think it's always good to wait. Just give it a day, like to let that listing agreement resonate with you. Maybe you're going to have other questions. And you may have other questions, not just about the listing agreement, but things you didn't think of when you were meeting with the agent that you're like, well, wait a minute, what about this? I think take a day, read it, any questions you have, get them answered, sign it, and then send it back. I always advocate that anyways.
I think it's a good idea.
'Cause I think-
anytime you have documentation.
Yeah, because you tend to jump too soon, or you're just not thinking about all the facts. Like maybe at midnight, you're like, oh my God, I wish I would have. And if you've signed it, it's too late.
Right.
Versus having had the time to really let it sink in and absorb and
then ask the questions.
Right. And then when you meet with an agent, like if it's you and your spouse, you and your significant other, however it is, just you yourself. I mean, when it's just you and the agent and you're sitting there are going to be things that aren't going to come up organically. There will be things that you're going to come up with in the evening or that next morning. That's why I always suggest that people wait. I always tell people I'll be here tomorrow. So I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
Like take this, sit with it. Any questions, call me tonight, call me in the morning, and then we'll go from there.
That
But
sounds like
it's
good
important.
advice. Rebecca, do you have a question? Big Daddy?
Yes, and I don't want to change the subject or anything, but
No
I'd love
worries.
to know any updates or upcoming guests you have coming on Big Daddy Radio.
We do. We have some good people for Big Daddy Radio after the holidays. Right now we're operating as a View type panel or The Talk or The Chew, all these TV shows that are out there. But we do have a panel that everything that's trending, everything that's on Hot Topics, we tend to follow. We have some good people that are slated to come on. Hopefully we have Juliana Rancic, who used to be an anchor for E! News.
Wow.
She'll be joining us in January. Yeah, I'm excited. So she'll be talking about her breast cancer foundation. So we're in with that. And then we're working on one of the Housewives of Beverly Hills, which is probably like, for people that watch that franchise, it will be a huge hit of a show, I'm sure. But also while I'm on here, speaking of, having done the radio show has opened many doors to different things, and one of them is this grammarch.org, G-R-A-M march.org, and it's a teacher up in LA. Her name's Heather Shockey, and she created this organization because she's an English teacher, does social studies. Kids were turning in papers, and they were writing like they were texting. So they would write happy faces at the end of paragraphs where they were really proud of themselves, or they would say you are and just write you are. They were really taking text language and losing formal language in these grammar, these papers that they're writing. And so she came up with this great initiative to get people to get involved with their children, get involved with, their nephews, their nieces, whoever. And, it just happened to be in March, and I really love her slogan. It's pause, ponder, prose. Stop and think about what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Ponder it and then write. And I just think she's a really great gal. She's a guest that'll be on again. I love her. And I love this initiative that she came up with. March is when it takes the biggest bang, but it's all year round. And I'm 150% supporter of hers.
Great stuff.
Yeah,
Just
that's
like
super
I'm
cool.
150% supporter of you, my friend.
I appreciate that.
Radio.
Thank
Check it
you.
out on BigDaddyRadio.com and stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else, commercial free.
Our next guest is known as the nicest guy in San Diego real estate. Please welcome back to the show Daniel Buksa and his special guest from Mission Federal Credit Union, Dan Helt.
All right. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Now, Mr. Buksa, we got Dan and Dan here. Okay, let's be honest.
Absolutely.
Buksa and Helt for the rest of the show, right?
Nice. Fair enough.
So, Buksa, why'd you want to bring Dan Helt on today?
Well, for me, Dan is a strategic partner with me. One of the things that really attracted me to Mission Federal Credit Union is the values and the core beliefs that they have. I feel like when you walk into a Mission Federal Credit Union branch, they treat you like family. It feels very natural versus going to some big bank where you walk in, you feel like you just got your shirt ripped off.
It's like
of
a
you.
hospital. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So just that culture and value system really aligns with what we do with our clients. So I felt like it was a natural fit.
Okay, great stuff. And Dan, we've met many times.
Indeed.
I know you very well.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of good things, about Mission Federal Credit Union directly from you. Now we get to share it with everybody. So first of all, tell us about Mission Fed.
I'm excited to tell you about it. Yeah, I think When you think about Mission Fed, we are a credit union, and a lot of folks, when they hear credit union, they think bank. And those two things are not at all alike. There's actually quite a big difference. Banks are responsible to their shareholders on Wall Street, making a profit for them. At Mission Fed, our shareholders are our members. And everything that we do is about giving back to them, personalizing service. We're a not-for-profit, so everything that we do, we put back into the credit union in the form of lower interest rates on auto loans, mortgages, or higher interest rates on money market accounts, and CDs, things like that.
Not for profit.
Not for profit.
That's incredible.
Indeed.
I like
Who's
that.
ever heard of a depository institution that's not for profit?
I know.
Indeed. Everything that we do is to give back to our members. And, we've been serving the San Diego community for quite a long time. We started here in 1961, starting in the teachers and educators initially, and then we've expanded to include everybody that lives in San Diego. If you live here, you work here, you go to school here, you can become a member with Mission Fed. And we're exclusively serving San Diego. We're not trying to go to Orange County, LA, Riverside. We just want to be the best we can be here and take great care of our members here.
And you guys have got a lot of branches now. Is it 30-something, I remember?
We do. We have almost 30 branches. As of the first quarter of 2016, we'll have 30 branches here locally.
Wow, that's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
That's
Yeah.
exciting.
It is. It's awesome.
That's huge. I love the dedication to San Diego.
It really is. I mean, that's what we're all about, is serving our community here. First and foremost, it's service to the community.
Yeah, I made that decision a long time ago in radio to not syndicate and to stay local in San Diego. I said, there's a lot of people in San Diego. There's a lot of people here who need help. There's a lot of people here who want great information, and you guys adapted that same philosophy, which is awesome. I totally agree with it. What are some of the things that Mission Fed is doing differently, let's say, in the real estate industry?
That's a great question. The thing that we've been really focused on for 2015 is educating our members. We feel like if our members are educated about the home buying process, they're going to make smarter decisions and also taking some of the fear out of it. One of the things that we really focused on this year is creating a first-time homebuyer seminar, which is a free series of classes that we've been offering in our branches, where we invite our realtor partners like Daniel and his team to come in and educate our members about the home buying process. How much does it cost to buy a home? How much of a down payment am I going to need? And take some of their fears out so that they understand what it is they're doing. And if they understand that, then they're able to make a better decision for themselves and for their future.
What do you think some of the people have been getting out of those classes, Daniel?
Well, like Dan had mentioned, one of the biggest fear factors for a lot of people is the costs and what's involved with the buying process. And I feel like once you kind of go over what does it cost to buy a home, what is your down payment, what is an appraisal fee, what is a good faith deposit, once those fears are out of the way, going out and finding the home is the fun part. And I feel like that's really what we should be doing, is making this a good experience for people. And that's why I team with Dan, is they educate their buyers and make the process very easy for us.
Yeah, that's great stuff. Now, how about mortgage rates? Because you said, you can get lower rates on other things like credit cards or auto loans and things like that. Are mortgage rates lower with the credit union as well versus the banks?
They are, absolutely. The mortgage rates that we offer a variety of programs, but we have rates that are going to run anywhere from the high 2s to the low 3s on some of our adjustable rates. And then when you look at fixed rates, we're right there with the rest of the market in the low 4s, sometimes the high 3s.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So I was just curious because that's such an awesome idea, isn't it? Just the concept of we're not for profit. We're going to take all the money that we make. We're going to invest it back into the bank and the products that the bank has. Does that mean that you guys have some lending products for home buyers that might be different than what's in the marketplace too?
Absolutely, we do. One of our programs that's really, really popular with our first-time home buyers right now is our 5-5 arm. It's an arm that's fixed for 5 years and only adjusts once every 5 years. We only require a very low down payment of 5%, up to a $750,000 loan amount. So for anybody that's looking at buying their first home or even sometimes their second home, that's going to be a much lower down payment than you would normally expect. We also pay the mortgage insurance on that loan, and we pay up to $10,000 of their closing costs. So for somebody that's a first-time home buyer, right?
Where do I sign up?
So for somebody that's a first-time home buyer that maybe doesn't have that much money available to get into a home, when somebody's paying your closing costs and you only have a 5% down payment requirement, it makes buying a home affordable. Homes are expensive in San Diego. Who's got 20% down?
That's crazy.
It's tough.
It really is crazy. You said something there. I want to make sure I heard correctly.
$10,000 in closing costs.
$10,000 in closing costs. Mortgage insurance? You said you pay for the mortgage insurance?
Yeah, we pay mortgage insurance on this program as well. It's a lender-paid mortgage insurance program. So instead of paying mortgage insurance to a third party, we actually just have a slightly different interest rate on that program in the 3s, where that allows us to pay the mortgage insurance on their behalf, and they've got all this tax-deductible mortgage interest.
This is huge, though, Dan Helt. Dan. Because mortgage insurance is super expensive.
It is.
super expensive. It's not tax deductible. It's this big, ugly thing that's associated with a lot of people who are buying homes because they can't put that 20% down, like you mentioned. It's just this horrible, ugly, crooked number that gets attached to their mortgage payment, sometimes $400-$500 a month.
It can be.
I've seen $700+ a month for mortgage insurance.
Yeah, absolutely.
So to have a program that's low down payment and also does not have mortgage insurance, but has it paid through the interest rate, which is already low, that's brilliant. I mean, first-time homebuyers should be all over that.
They are. It really is the best program that we've got going on right now for the first-time homebuyer. And you know, for folks that are a little bit wary of an ARM, let's say I don't want an ARM, or they know that the home that they're buying is the home that they're going to stay in for a long period of time, we offer a 3% down payment program for fixed rate. As well. So 3% out of pocket gets you into your first home, allows you to start living the American dream of owning your own home and building wealth through home ownership, which for most folks is going to be the most significant ownership or most significant wealth ownership option they're going to have in their life is through owning a home.
Yeah, that's cool. So let me ask you this one question. So if so I'm a member, let's say I'm getting a mortgage, I want to buy a house, I heard about this program right here on the show, I want to come buy a house. Hey, Dan, I want that program. Is that a program where I'm going to be making a payment every month to Mission Federal Credit Union? Or am I one day going to be making a payment to somebody else?
Nah, that's a great question. I'm so glad that you asked. Mission Fed actually services all of our loans.
All of them?
All of them. Every single one of them. So you will always, always, always be dealing with Mission Fed, which for me is such a huge benefit because if I have financial struggles in my life, I'd rather know that I can walk into a branch and talk to a person that knows me, that cares about me, that wants to see me succeed, because our success is based upon the success of our members. If our members are not succeeding financially, then we're not succeeding financially as a credit union either.
That's fantastic. Boy, I tell you what, that is huge.
That's one of the feels you get in these branches. They treat you like family. You could tell when you walk in there that, you know, they're going to treat you well and look for your best interests. They're not just there to sell you something.
So that's a really big selling point for you guys at Mission Federal Credit Union.
It's huge.
Guys, thanks so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate your time.
Thank
Dan
you
and
for having
Dan,
us.
you guys are amazing. Mission Federal Credit Union, check it out. And stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else, commercial free.
Our next guest on Smarter San Diego TV is making her first appearance here. Please welcome lending expert with Movement Mortgage, Shelley Hoyse.
Welcome to the show. Shelley, how you doing?
Doing good, Derek.
All right, looking good, as usual. Great to have you here. Tell us about Movement Mortgage.
Well, Movement Mortgage, the founder of Movement Mortgage is Casey Crawford. He teamed up with Toby Harris, who was a longtime, well-respected realtor in his area, and they built the whole company around being realtor-centric.
Okay.
So the whole business model is designed around speed of closing and being there for the realtors and their clients.
Also, there's a lot of common sense, because I've heard him speak, by the way, the CEO. He was on Fox not too long ago, and there's some common sense to it that doesn't exist in lending, which is it's been just mind-boggling to me for years. Like certain liabilities that don't go on the 1003, I don't understand that. But like, can you really afford? One of the things, the chicken and the egg. This happens in real estate, Becky. You probably hear this talk at your kitchen table. What do you do first? Do you go look for a home, or do you get pre-approved or pre-underwritten for a loan? What is your guys' philosophy there?
Well, we definitely believe that if you are planning to buy a home anytime within the next 6 months or a year, that you should get pre-approved first.
Okay.
There's nothing worse than going out there and finding the perfect house and you get really excited and then you start calling a lender and saying, can I buy this? And it's very disappointing when either you can't get approved or it doesn't fit in your budget, which is the most important thing. Movement Mortgage is really big on responsible lending, not just what's the biggest loan we can cram into every client.
Right.
I personally really want people to be in a home that they feel comfortable in, with a payment that they can afford, so that they can enjoy SoCal living without everything going towards their house payment.
Yeah, it's so crazy because you make a great point. So many times people have said this to me, that they thought they qualified for a loan, but they went and they found that they couldn't after they'd found a house. And I tell them that's the best thing that could have happened to you. Because the worst thing that could have happened to you is that you did get the loan and it was way too much for you. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's true.
So it's like there's that fine line there where if you fit in, it's like, well, we qualify for the loan, but we can't afford it, but we've already fallen in love with the house. That's like the worst case scenario.
Right.
Because now you're sort of forced into buying a house that is too much for you.
Right.
And this happens all the time.
It does happen all the time, and that's one of the reasons why Movement Mortgage, one thing that we do with every file is we fully underwrite our files even before you find a house. So finding a lender that will invest in that kind of time ahead of time for you is really important.
I have a question for you
Okay.
about that real quick, because you said invest that kind of time into it. So is that the reason that not every bank does it? Is because they have to sort of pay it forward, they have to spend money on human capital to do that work before there's any revenue attached to it?
Right. I mean, if you think about it, we're essentially underwriting every file twice. So if someone comes to me for a pre-approval and they choose to send full documentation, then I submit the file to underwriting just like I would if they already had a house picked out. So we go through the full process, we condition the file, which means the underwriter requests the last few items that they need for final approval, and then the client knows exactly what's needed, exactly what they need to do in order to close their loan. So when they go out looking, they can go to their realtor and not just have a pre-qual, but they can take their offers with a loan commitment letter.
Yes.
And that goes a long ways. And this market is still competitive.
Right. Yeah, it's been a seller's market, it seems like forever, hasn't it? Just
Yeah.
crazy out there
Right.
for buyers. A lot of people banging their heads against the wall trying to find a house.
Right.
It's tough. You got to have your ducks in a row. And so
Yes.
having that pre-underwritten situation ahead of going and looking at homes, I could see where that'd be very beneficial. Advantageous, actually, in a negotiation process when you're battling with 5, 6, 10 other people to
Right.
get that perfect house.
Honestly, I think it's the most important thing in getting a home is if you are not fully ready in a purchase situation with everything in hand where you can essentially say, I'm ready to close in 20 days or less. You can compete with cash buyers that way when you have your loan approval in hand.
Another thing that I've seen and heard from your CEO, know before you owe. What is that all about? That's kind of one of the movements in Movement Mortgage.
So what I've been seeing lately is about 3 different types of home buyers. You've got your millennials and your first-time home buyers. Those people are a little bit trepidatious maybe about getting into the market. They're a little nervous because their parents might have lost their home or foreclosed or short sale, in the downturn. And then you've got people re-entering the market who did foreclose or have a short sale a few years back. And you've got people that are now in a move-up situation where they own their home and they survived the meltdown, but now they've got some equity, and so they're ready to sell their house and buy another one. So these 3 people are asking, am I approved? The first-time home buyers want to know, what can I afford? What do I do? What is the process? So really spending time and educating them on the process from the beginning is key. The re-entries want to know, is it too late for me? Can I buy a home now? What happens now that I've had a bankruptcy or foreclosure? And there are a lot of programs out there for that type of situation. So really sitting down and personalizing it is key.
Right.
Another thing, in fact, I just had a client the other day. She says, is it really possible to sell my house and buy another one before the end of the year? This was like December 1st. I said, yes, absolutely. So, and she is. She's in contract sale of her home, and we are going to close her loan by the end of the year. We're going to close both of her transactions by the end of the year.
Wow. That is extremely impressive. And I know that's a big thing with Movement Mortgage is that you guys work quickly.
Absolutely.
Get the deals done fast.
Right. And while she was preparing to list her home, we were already underwriting her file.
Right.
So she already knew what conditions she needed for her loan closing, so she could focus on listing her home, showing her home, which is enough stress on a seller. They don't need to be also worrying about, can I get a loan on the next property?
Right.
So knowing that part was taken care of was huge for her. And she's able to relax, and she still is absolutely shocked that her home is now in escrow and she's just waiting to close. That's it.
I'm shocked too. I gotta be honest with you.
Present.
That's crazy timeline. I mean, it's like you guys are doing so good with that. You might actually spoil some people out there. I mean, it's like, that's crazy because this is holidays and all that stuff factored in, and you're gonna get it done. Congratulations on that.
Yeah,
it's a big deal. Thank you so much for being here today, Shelley
right.
Hoyseth with Movement Mortgage. Not
Thank
just
you,
a pretty
Derek.
face, but a great loan officer here in San Diego, and part of the Movement Mortgage family, which we have a lot of in this room today.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here, and stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else. Commercial free.
Please welcome back our next guest to Smarter San Diego TV, real estate expert, Michael Jacobo.
He's here, MJ. What's up, man?
Hello.
Doing well, doing well.
All right, great to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
So we've got a lot of response from your segments about Encinitas on Facebook, YouTube. A lot of people are seeing this, chiming in. There's a lot going on there. I mean, the low-income housing thing is a big discussion. There's some orange cones right now in the Village Park area. What's going on there, man?
There is. In Encinitas and Village Park, you're seeing a lot of work being done to specifically Mountain Vista Drive, Village Park Way. And what they're doing is the Olivenhain Municipal Water District is putting down 7 miles of pipe all around Encinitas.
7 miles of pipe?
7 miles of pipe being done typically in the evening time.
Mm-hmm.
And the purpose of this is ultimately going to be supplying recycled water to the schools in the area, to the HOAs in the area, Village Park. It'll start to now do, with our drought that we're having, it will help put about 30, it'll start to water 30 of the 50 HOAs. It'll start to water the grass in the middle school, the elementary school nearby. And ultimately, it's because it's a lot less money to have recycled water than it is to have potable water.
So is this being done through the Olivenhain?
Olivenhain Municipal Water District.
Okay, they're the ones who are doing it. So they've got that recycled plant there.
Correct.
And they're the ones who are running the 7 miles of pipe. That's a big project.
Yeah.
Okay, so folks, when you see the orange cones, it's a big deal what they're trying to do. And to save the water is obviously a huge deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the drought has gotten so bad.
And drought is affecting everybody here in San Diego. You're seeing signs. I'm seeing signs all over, not just in Encinitas, but all around, just drought, be aware of the drought. I was out in Poway not too long ago, and out there as well, you're seeing signs saying, be aware of the drought, and water sporadically, or water, twice a week now only. They're asking you to only water twice.
Yeah.
So
even on restaurant menus, you see now, please ask your waitress or waiter for a glass of water. They don't just bring it to the table anymore.
Yeah, we got her to say water.
Yeah, love it.
We didn't even have to try. She
You
did it
planned
on her
this.
own. Perfect. And it's true, and they've started doing that. And you have to really look at it. It's not, that they're trying to be inconvenient for people. They're just trying to, save as much drinking water as possible. Because as a recycled water, you're not drinking that.
That's correct.
You don't drink the recycled water. Even though it's okay and still functions as water, you're not supposed to drink it because it's not 100% drinkable.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. It's not considered potable water.
Potable, as they say.
That's the terminology used in the industry, apparently.
Okay, potable water. Could you put it in a pot? So, a lot going on in the Encinitas market this year, obviously. Yes. You've got some hot properties, though, to talk about today.
I do have a few properties out there, and I have one great property just a half a block away from the beach in Carlsbad, actually.
Okay.
Right off of Poinsettia, in a community called Water's End. The property, it's approximately 2,300 square feet, 3 bedrooms. I'm sorry, 4 bedrooms, that one is. Four bedrooms. Yes, 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, 2,300 square feet. It's in a gated community, Water's End. Great home, again, a half a block away from the ocean.
Yeah.
Can't beat that.
So 4 bedrooms.
That's correct.
What's the price point or the expected price point for that one on the market?
That one is $985. We're actually below market. We're below the last 3 comps. The last 3 comps have all been $995. Oddly enough, all 3 sales have been $995. We're actually at $985 for the exact same model match. Obviously, we're just trying to get this property sold.
Yeah, that's a great strategy, though, in general, right?
Yes,
is to just
absolutely.
price right under market value and generate tons of interest.
Yes. I have another property as well.
Sure.
In San Marcos. This property has beautiful ocean views, no neighbor behind you. It's in a community called Rancho Dorado. This particular property is 5 bedrooms, with a pool, no one behind you, as mentioned, 2-story, highly upgraded on a cul-de-sac street. Can't beat it. Beautiful home. Just shy of 3,600 square feet. 3,517 is the square footage.
And how much will that one be listed for?
That one is on a range price. It's from $975,000 to $1.5 million.
Now you said that one has an ocean view from San Marcos?
Beautiful ocean view from San Marcos.
That's got to be breathtaking.
Wow.
Overlooking, it overlooks Rancho Carrillo all the way through Carlsbad down to the ocean. No neighbor behind you.
Wow, that sounds awesome, man.
It's wonderful, and it has a pool, a beautiful barbecue area in the backyard. It's great.
What else do you need?
I know.
Beck,
I
is
hope
there
you guys
anything
are
else on your
listening,
wish
'cause
list?
Summer's going to be here before you know it.
That's true.
I know we're in the winter season, but
Oh,
hey,
the
you need time to
winter.
prepare, right?
Winter season.
Yeah,
Yes, that's what they call it here. Yeah, it's 70 degrees outside.
Something like that.
Exactly. The weather's been great.
So, Michael, I'd love to pick your brain.
Sure.
Because, you know, there's been a lot going on the last few years in the real estate market as far as we're seeing prices go up and up and up and up. If you're one of those people who's been searching for a home and you started looking like 2 years ago, the same houses you're looking at now are probably $100,000 more than they were when you first started looking. So that does something to the psychology of buyers out there for sure, at least the fence-sitting buyers. That means that now they're waiting for prices to get back to where they were when they first started looking, right? That's what they think the prices should be. But the market's moved. What are you expecting to happen in 2016, not just for Encinitas, but for all of San Diego?
I think we're going to see more inventory come out on the market. Right now, we are at lower levels of inventory than what we're typically used to here for San Diego. You will start to see more properties come on the market, and that's normal for the first quarter of the year to happen anyways.
Okay.
So we're going to see that. My concern is, where will interest rates be for 2016? Yes, we will see our inventory start to rise. However, if interest rates also rise, that may affect the amount of homes being sold, because now people are going to start to get a little scared of what's going to happen, right? But it's inevitable. I believe the interest rates are going to need to move in the northerly direction.
Go up. You can say interest rates need to go up.
How can I say this nicely?
Right now, 30-year fixed, you can still get around 3.875, which is crazy.
It's crazy good.
Crazy good, yeah. I mean, I believe that they will go up.
What do you think about the people who say, okay, so interest rates have to go up. When interest rates go up, then home values will go down in turn. What do you think about that, just concept in general?
That's what is said, correct. I think in real estate, it's very specific to the community that you're in.
Okay.
That is known to be as U.S.-wide that occurs, or even in certain areas, but I wouldn't say in all areas of San Diego that does that happen.
Okay.
There's still properties, if you're in a certain community that has low inventory for that specific community, I don't think the interest rates rising a little bit will affect the prices in those communities.
Cardiff, for example.
Cardiff being one of them. Very low inventory right now.
Leucadia.
Leucadia is another one. Leucadia is hot.
Yeah, it's hot as a firecracker, man.
It is hot.
Yeah, I don't see that stopping anytime soon.
I love it. I love it there. I love Encinitas, of course.
Of course. Michael Jacobo, appreciate your time today, man.
My pleasure.
Awesome
Thank you
to
for
have you
having
here
me,
on the show.
Absolutely.
Stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else, commercial free. Hey, great show, guys. That's a wrap. Jade, what's your schedule look like? Do you mind breaking down the set?
Not today, Derek. I'd love to, but there's waves out there. I gotta go. Angela? Nikki?
Yeah, I gotta go beat traffic. And I think Nikki's making something up there.
Look at this. We did this. We did all of this.